Hi guys, it's Irene's Braids and I am back with another video. So today you guys, I will be doing a video on tribal braids slash knotless braids. So normally when I do this particular style, I like to do box braids as my individuals for the back of my client's hair. But today I'll be doing knotless braids instead to have more of a flexible look and style. So that way she'll be able to wear this up or down, half up, half down immediately after service. So when I begin my knotless braids, I like to go ahead and section off my client's hair into 3 parts. And then when I do that, I like to also add in a piece of braiding hair in between my index and my thumb finger. Now this particular video is not basically on how to do knotless braids itself. I do have multiple videos on this method, and you would be able to view this in more better detail if you go ahead and visit some of the videos that I have previously done. And I will also do you guys a favor and drop a link down in the description box below of some of my most popular tutorials on how to do knotless braids for it to better help you. So with that being said, let's continue watching me install her knotless braids, and then I will show you guys how I like to install the feed-in braids towards the top. Let's continue watching. Okay, you guys, so please keep in mind that I have started to curve my parting, more so of a U-shaped parting. So I want to say that I did approximately about 7 to 8 rows so far. Once I get done with my seventh to eighth row, I like to then go ahead and then part my parts across the top of her head, as you see me doing here in this video. And then I like to just go ahead and make sure those parts are even, those sections are even, and that should leave you about 3 sections remaining at the top. And then what the braids at the top will do is just go ahead and fall over what we've already done underneath and then help give it more of a fuller look. So this is my braid pattern that I like to stick with when it comes to doing knotless braids, and definitely box braids for a style such as this, for tribal braids styles, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and complete doing her knotless braids, and then I will go ahead and start off with the scalp braiding towards the front, and I will explain in better details of how I like to do that. And also please keep in mind that I will be dropping a link below of how to do this same exact style but with box braids in the back and then scalp braiding in the front. So the only difference between the two is this particular client that you see in this video, she has knotless, which I think is a much better look if you want to style them immediately after service. All right, so let's continue watching. All right, you guys, so we have completed our knotless braids and they are absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but we are doing hip length braids, so they will be very long and very pretty. Okay, you guys, so with that being said, I am going to start my scalp braiding towards the front, and I want to show you guys what I'm doing here. So I've already lined up my hair. If you are familiar with my channel, you know that I like to go ahead and I like to go ahead and prep out the hair. So I have already lined the hair up on what I use as, it's a clothing rack, but I use it as a braiding rack. And I line the hair up as if I'm prepping for knotless braids. and I line them hair up in small pieces. Now, you can line your hair up in the size amount that you're looking for, depending on how big you want your braids to be. But all of my pieces are very, very small. So as you see me working with this tiny piece here, I take some hair out of the group of hair that I've already laid down, and I go ahead and section it out into more tinier pieces just to begin the braid. And then as I begin the braid with that tiny piece, I'll then, elevate my braids to a much more bigger size, but not too big. The bigger you go, the more knots you have. If you keep the consistency the same and make sure the braid that you're adding in is still small as you build on that foundation, then it will still look nice and seamless. But if you start to add in too big of pieces, then that's when you'll get those knottier look. And you don't want the knotty look. You want it to be seamless. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and continue feeding in the hair, and I will allow you guys just to continue watching. This particular style is really cute for the summer. It's a very popular style for vacation. So if you're looking for a cute summer style, vacation style, this style is definitely for you. So I'm going to continue to keep doing what I've done in the previous step 4, where I start off braiding her natural hair first, and then I will start adding in pieces of the braiding hair little by little until I get to that consistency and size that I'm looking for. Okay. I do have my clients hold their hair as I'm braiding backwards, because it can do a lot of pulling when it comes to scalp braiding. So as I'm installing the braids, sometimes it could hurt the client just because of the type of style that we're doing. But once it's in there, they're fine. Anytime you're doing scalp braids such as this, they're going to kind of feel it. So I do advise that you have them hold it, especially when it comes to the edges. You definitely want them to hold the edge and make sure the hair is not pulling. All right, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and continue watching, and we'll be back to just explain more in the video. You guys, this is a very tedious job. It's not easy to do this particular style, especially if you do not know how to feed in. You will find this style to be very complicated if you're not good with feeding in. It took me, I want to say, about 2 years to get this method down. I used to get so frustrated with doing scalp braiding. I could not stand it because it was always so hard for me to try to get the braids to lay consistently and then not have a knotted look. Oh, I could not stand doing this style. But repetition is what gets you to perfect your craft. And if you don't continue to practice, 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 you will not get it. You have to continue practicing. That's the way to beat the odds when it comes to this particular style. Okay. So with that being said, like I said in the beginning of this, in the middle of this video, I like to start with my client's natural hair when I'm braiding, and then I like to feed in smaller pieces of the braiding hair as I continue to braid. And as far as me dipping my hand in a pudding, in a braid gel, that was a little bit of Murray's Edge Wax, and that just kind of helps me keep a nice grip as I'm braiding, so that way I'm not braiding too tight on her scalp, but I also have a nice grip when I'm gathering the hair, if that makes sense. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and continue feeding in the hair, and I hope that you have found the feed in part of this segment informative. Please remember that I will be dropping a link in the description box below of this same method, but done with box braids in the back, for those of you who prefer to have box braids versus the knotless braids. All right, so let's continue watching.